Sandra, going to move you up a bit. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality. So if you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button now. Hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live and post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as you go along. Yes, I am live once again, live streaming on this channel. I share my own asexual journey in order to help you in yours. And I'm the author of Asexual Perspectives, founder of asexualist.com and founder of Asexualized Academy, which is the world's first online training centre and school for asexuals and asexuality. Don't forget there is a free course down below, which is Asexuality Basics for Beginners. If you haven't already checked out the free course, do so down below. Hello, Michael. Nice to see you. In this video, I got something really important to share with you. So if you are thinking, I know, Michael, you aren't, but obviously there's other people that watch this channel, but if you're thinking about moving to be with another asexual in another country, or even someone that's not asexual, obviously, then think again, because I'm about to reveal to you a couple of instances that weren't all they seem. And I want to save you a lot of heartache in the long run, if I can, from making a mistake. So what am I talking about? Well, basically, as you know, I'm on asexual dating sites, asexuality.com and also ace-book.net. And so I was on there yesterday. I haven't logged in for a while to asexuality.com. And I have a thread on there, which is, I've got it up now to the left of me, so I will be reading from the screen. So if you see my eyes go off a little bit, you know why. But it's called Who Here Is Actually Looking for a Serious and Committed No-Sex Relationship? Because I got so frustrated a long time ago that no one seemed to be actually looking for a serious committed relationship. There was either people on the site that weren't really asexual, or the people that were, they weren't that bothered about forming a relationship, even though some of them said they wanted it. I'm like, so who, I want to get to the people that were actually looking for a serious committed relationship without sex. I'm like, where are you? And this thread has now been going, I think, for well over a year. I think it's probably like 2 years nearly. It's been going on forever and a day. So it's really nice. It gets refreshed because people just keep adding more and more content to it as they, come on the site. They often join some of my dating groups. And one of the things is with asexuals, because we are few and far between, we're a recorded 1% of the population, which is 1 in every 100 people. We have to do a lot of our dating and provisional relationship stuff online, because it's really difficult to just have another asexual pop up in your supermarket. Asexuals, as a general rule, the majority tend to be introverted, so it's not like asexuals are going to go up and say, hey, I fancy the pants off you, do you mind exchanging numbers? I am an extroverted asexual, but obviously even I do find it like I have to pump myself up and make myself brave to approach people. I can do it, obviously. I talk about on this channel about approaching people in supermarkets, in the street, in pubs. You have to put yourself out there. You have to push yourself to do these things to get anywhere if you're looking for a serious relationship, because you never know who's going to pop up in your life. There may be some asexuals. I've been to one event in a pub and there was another asexual in the room. He wasn't suitable for me, but hey ho, it was still nice. And that was when I went to my friend's karaoke semi-final was it last year or months ago this year? It might have been this year, but earlier, but the beginning part of the year. Anyway, so you can find asexuals, randomly, but the likelihood of us finding an asexual randomly or there being a compatible match is quite highly unlikely, but not impossible. So the two ways you meet asexuals usually for a potential relationship are online and through an asexual meetup. Those are the two ways you usually, start something off, like dating or friendship or relationship. If you're looking to progress it to a relationship, obviously we're all spread around the globe. We're everywhere. We're not usually condensed in one place. Now, I'm very fortunate that I do have some asexuals in my city. However, excuse me, the asexuals that are in my city aren't suitable for a romantic relationship with me, but at least I've got some. Do you know what I mean? I think you're really lucky and fortunate if you can find 3 other asexuals in your city, Or, you know, if you live in a town, it's going to be even harder because there's less population there. So I know one guy who I see sometimes at my meetups. He's come to the next one. We sometimes see each other as friends every so often. And then there's a female as well. She's back in Exeter now. She's away studying. And there's a new guy that I knew to me that is in Exeter. He's coming to my next meetup, and he wants to meet up outside of meetup sometimes too. So I said, let's see how it goes in the group first. And if all goes well, yeah, no problem. Should be able to do that, even though he's older than me. I don't usually hang out with much older people, but you know, as a friend, it'll be okay. My female friend's older than me quite a bit, but yeah. But she doesn't act like it, and I don't think this asexual guy acts like his age either. So from talking to him, I get on really well with him in messaging already. So that's promising for a friendship, which is cool. And so, you know, when you are, you know, dating or into a relationship or looking for someone, you're seriously wanting someone, you know, one of the ways, like I said, is online if it's not in a meetup. And what you want to be doing is you want to be taking it from online to offline as soon as you can. However, if you choose to opt for a long distance relationship until you have the funds to actually go and meet them, if they live in another country, you could end up obviously having an online relationship and never meeting them in person for a number of years or months or weeks. You know, and obviously the longer it is, the weeks or the months or the years, you know, the more attached you get to them and the more heartbreak it can cause you if you ever need to split. Now, if you live in different countries, one of you, if you want the relationship to progress, which most people do not want an online relationship for the rest of their life. They want to meet that person in real life at some point. And that should always be the goal of an online relationship. You should always have the goal that you're going to meet each other and when. And ideally, you want it to be within 1 or 2 years. You don't want to be hanging on. Personally, I can't do a long distance relationship because I don't want to waste my time and waste my life with someone I don't even know. Because obviously online, the danger is you don't really know them. You know, I personally don't want to do that. I also need kissing. If you don't need kissing, it's not so bad because, you know, you haven't got so much to lose because you're not missing out on physical stuff that you need. Whereas I need the kissing. So I can't do a long distance relationship. I don't want it. I don't want to know. I wasted my life, a lot of my previous life, with guys who are bad for me and wrong for me. I do not want to make that same mistake. So, obviously, though, I do get attracted to foreign guys, but I need someone who'll move over here. I will not move over there to their country. Okay, so they have to move over here, or I get someone who's already over here, ideally, which is what I'm trying to do these days. So, basically, with all the online relationship stuff, if you get into a relationship, you know, some people, some asexuals, are taking it upon themselves to plan when they're moving without having visited the person first, right? This is a big no. You should always be visiting that person in their own country before you move, because you might not get on well with them in person. Being in person with someone is very different to actually having an online relationship. So if you're doing an online relationship, it should involve not just messaging, it should involve obviously being on the phone, but it should involve face-to-face video chat and lots of it. If you're going for a serious relationship, you're thinking about moving, you should be regularly video chatting with them. You know, Skype video chatting through Facebook Messenger. You should be doing this. This is a precaution. And not only that, you know, precaution because you're making sure that their picture is what they really look like. I know there's a number of asexual guys and they are posting pictures on online on asexual dating profiles that are years old. Some of them are 5 years old, some of them are 10 years old, you know, and they don't look like that anymore. Some of them are afraid to post what they look like now because they look so much older. And that's, you know, like lying and deception. I can understand maybe if it's a year ago or something, but I mean 5, 7 and 10 years ago, that's just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? It's just not good, you know. If they haven't changed much over those years and they really genuinely do look like that person, hand on heart, then it's not so bad, you know. But the thing is, you've got to video chat with them. You should never, ever move when you haven't even seen the person on video, for a start. I mean, that is just ridiculous. You know, that person could be I don't care what dating site it's on, whether it's a sexual one or an asexual one. You don't know the person. You know, they could be a paedophile. They could be a man saying they're a woman, or women saying they're a man. And I'm not talking about trans either. I'm talking about them posing as something they're not. And, you know, and I'm just, you know, stating these dangers to you, you know, that, you know, they could be something completely they're not. They could say that they hate smoking, yet, you know, have fags all over their apartment and cigarettes everywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? They can be something that they're not. Obviously, you're not going to know until you actually meet them in person. And this is where I'm coming on to. Do not move countries and upload all your belongings and everything up, sticks everything, without meeting that person in person first. You should always meet someone in person first before you decide to move your whole life and world over for them. Like, maybe you have a bad relationship at home. Maybe your current circumstances are dire and bad. But unfortunately, like tends to attract like. So basically, if you are not coming from a place of fulfillment, happiness, self-love, and a good positive environment for yourself, if you're going from a negative environment, you know, you can be seeking the positive feelings from someone else that they could give you, but it's artificial because you're lacking that at home. I know, because I moved out. Hi, Martin. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I have not really told you this before, but when I was 19 years old, I left college, and the day after, I moved out of my parents' place, and I moved and lived with the ex. It was very bad for me. Not the ex I've talked about before, but someone else. And I'm not going to go into any more details of that, but I wasn't liking my life before. I was depressed. I was unhappy. And so I came from a place of emptiness, distress, depression, upset and pain. And I wanted to start a new life as soon as possible. But instead of starting a new good life as soon as possible, I went into a really bad life and bad situation with that first guy. I'm not going to go into details. I don't want to. You know, it's in my past. It's all gone now. But I just don't want people to make the same mistakes that I made. I don't want you to come from a place of darkness and upset and pain in your life to thinking that a person will solve all your problems, or to thinking you can get love from a person when it might be a false love they're giving you, because they might have their own issues and their own problems going on in their life. And you leave your home and you leave everything you know and all your friends and family. You go off to be what you think is going to be in a wonderful relationship with this gorgeous human being. And I'm not saying it can't happen, because I know it can, because I got people I know who have moved countries and been with someone and been really thoroughly happy, more happy than they've ever been in their life, in love, married, happily, satisfied, fantastic. So it can work out really, really well. But I'm just sharing with you things you need to be aware of and need to make sure that you're in the best possible place physically and mentally and emotionally for yourself before you move to another country to be with someone else. Like, I want a mover, or I want someone in this country. So obviously that person, you know, I would expect that person to be checking me out on Google. I would expect that person to be looking me up on the internet, you know, just like I tell everyone else they should be doing. You know, if you're interested in someone and you're on Facebook, you know, check out all their other social media. Ask them for all their other social media. If they're not prepared to give you them, you know, there's something dodgy going on. You know, people aren't always what they seem. And I'm doing this video because, as much as I believe in true love, I believe in soulmates, I believe that you can move and still have a wonderful relationship in certain circumstances with certain people. It works really well. But I'm warning you and telling you that it doesn't always work out, and you can end up in a worse situation. And I do not want that for you. And I'm going to give you 2 scenarios in a minute from my thread on asexuality.com of where people have been conned. Okay, so that is coming up. So I'm going to be going through that with you in a moment, and I'm going to read. I can't read every bit of the detail, obviously, because it isn't a forum. So if you go on Asexuality, you're a registered member, you can read this stuff openly. But I want to tell you because I need to inform you of what's going on. I don't, because I obviously run dating groups. I do not want you making this mistake. I do not want me to not tell you this stuff and you regret this, moving for the rest of your life. I want you to be informed and educated. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to break through taboos. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to explain asexuality and its idiosyncrasies, if you like. I'm here to explain that not everything's black and white with asexuality, and I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you there are asexual scammers. I've mentioned it before. People don't like to hear it, but it's true. Even people in my group said said there've been people online that aren't really asexuals. Surprise, surprise. Obviously, you're going to get it. But, people don't really want to hear it necessarily. They want to hear all the fluffy stuff, But I can't sugarcoat it for you all the time. So basically, make sure that you're getting the best possible picture of this person, video chat with them, check them all out over social media, really get to know them as much as possible, their outside appearance as well as their inside, what they're telling you. And does their actions match their words? If they are saying something to you, this is true of people in person as well. If someone's saying something to you, but they're not coming through the actions, then they're lying. If someone's saying, I love you, I adore you, you're amazing, I love talking to you, then doesn't speak to you for 5 days, they're talking rubbish and they're a liar. And they've probably got thousands of people they're messaging online and chatting up. If they give you the feeble excuse, I'm too tired. Well, are you tired? Probably. Do you still speak to them because you love them? Yes, of course you do. It's just rubbish. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're liking it. So basically, you've got to look out for these things. You've got to make sure that you visit them in their country as well. Do not just move over there. I get very scared about people who say they're just going to up the sticks and move. And I know sometimes it's because they've got personal problems at home, family, friends, situations not good where they live. Maybe their accommodations poor. Maybe their living conditions are not good. And it's kind of the golden goose, isn't it? Is, like the green grass is always greener on the other side, but it's not necessarily true. Yes, it could be amazing. I know people who've changed their lives by going and being with the person they want abroad. I want someone who's foreign, but I am telling you the truth of like it is, and when you meet that person in person, you might be great friends with them online, but when you meet them, if you're intending to move and live with them, I would always recommend actually getting your own place. If you're going to move, get your own place so you've got some security there. You get a job, you get your own place, and then move in with them at a later date. Because you don't have a blooming clue what they're like in reality, in everyday reality. They might have bad habits like picking their backside, picking their nose, I don't know, like putting their underpants everywhere, putting, putting you down in front of their friends. They might have a lot of things that you don't know about online, because online we tend to, a lot of the time, see the best side of people, don't we? I know sometimes on Facebook you see lots of miserable posts and lots of rubbish, but you also see the other side where everyone glamorizes everything, makes out their life is so good, then other people are like, why is their life so good and my life's rubbish? Well, really, it's not. They're just showing you the fantastic, glamorous side of their life. It isn't realistic. I know that, I know from my past experience the difference between when I didn't live with exes and when I did. And I can tell you, living with them, obviously I wasn't their ex at the time. When I lived with them, it's a lot harder. When you're not living with them, they're trying to get you. They're trying to woo you. They're trying to be overly nice to you. They're trying to treat you like a princess or whatever they're trying. Well, obviously I'm a female. Try to treat you like a princess, be really nice to you, be best friends with you, like soulmates. Then when you get living with them, some of them, I'm not saying everyone's like this, but I'm just saying of the potential danger, can turn out to be very abusive, narcissistic and nasty people. So, you've got to give yourself time to get to know that person. Don't just rush in. If you're going to live with them, go to the other country, live on your own for a bit, so you've got a stable foundation if you're going to move. And then if everything's great, then you can move in with them. But spend some time in a place of your own, and then, you know, get a place, you know, if they've got a place, you can spend a lot of time over their home. You know, live with them for like 4 days or whatever, 3 or 4 days, live in your own place for 3 or 4 days. And then obviously if you know, if you're spending time with each other, and then you know, eke your way into it like a month or whatever, you know, so you're getting to actually have the experience of living with them before you fully live with them. So you've got something to some sort of backup, you know. I worry about people, anyone who just, you know, moves and goes and lives with someone. Now, having said that, right, if you are intending to go move and live with someone, right, and you don't want to get your own place out there, you can't afford it, you're adamant you're not doing that, right, okay, you have to, in the least, go and have a holiday in their country, or they need to come to you. You cannot possibly, you know it's going to be a good relationship until you've seen that person in person. You know, you might not have chemistry. Even if you're asexual, you still need some sort of chemistry, whether it's emotional, intellectual, physical, you know, spiritual. You still need some sort of chemistry there, you know, the spark to ignite your feelings and keep them alive. You know, people get in relationships, and that's the easy part. Sustaining a good, healthy relationship, having a good, healthy relationship, and actually growing together as people is much, much harder. Much, much harder. That's why so many people have got online dating culture in the sexual world. They don't want serious, committed relationships. They know it's hard work. They can't be bothered. They think, what's the point? I may as well just talk to 10 women tonight. Be validated in what validate myself. Have an ego boost, and then I've got no commitments issues, because relationships are hard work. I personally don't want to live with a guy again. I absolutely love living on my own. I so love living on my own. I've lived with guys before, and the experience, yeah, I ended up with a normal life. But normalising me, Sandra, quirky Sandra, is not good for me. I don't want to be normalised. I hated it. You know, maybe at the time I didn't think I hated it, but reflecting back after I was free of all that lifestyle and that life, I realised it's not who I am. It's like becoming an old woman. I'm not an old woman. I'm a young girl, for goodness sake, you know. And I lived like, in the past, there was an older version of me. This is the me I was born to be. This nice young girl, vibrant, happy, bubbly, me, fun, talkative, loving life. You know, this is how I was always born to be. And the former version of me was like a really old version of me. And when I was living that life, I call it the old life. And that's the life most people have. They have this normal life where they go to work and they have the relationship, they make food or whatever, watch some TV. That personally, that life isn't for me. You know, I like to grow myself, develop myself, be up to the early hours, being creative, have fun with my life, go out dancing, go and get some nice food, go to cinema, have fun with my life. You know, that wasn't the life that I wanted to lead, but I didn't realise that at the time. And the danger is if you're going over to another country and you've got nowhere to go of your own, you move in with that person, you know, their life might be very, very different to yours, and you might end up being in a life and lifestyle that's not really suited to your personality. And you might lose your identity in it, right? I know I'm being very, like, I'm looking at the sort of, you know, like, not such a good side of it at the moment, because I'm concerned. That's why, okay? Don't forget, I still believe in true love. I still believe miracles can happen. I still know that people go over and move and can be really happy, because I know 2 bloggers who have done it. They're not asexual, but they are really super happy. And so I will come on to them later, even though they're not asexual, and share. I've mentioned them before, actually, but I'm not sure if you've seen them. So I'm going to go to asexuality now, and I'm going to read out what the problem is, so you know that I'm not just making this stuff up, right? Okay, so this is from a person, a woman, on asexuality, right? And this is an asexual dating site, don't forget. Back in April, I met a man on this site. He left the below message in this forum. This is in my own thread. I want to give an update on what happened in hopes of clearing up any false hope he may have given. Okay, so I'm not reading the personal details out. Okay, so this person that's saying this is basically kindly warning the group about what happened with this guy who said he was asexual and is on this site. I think he might still be asexual. I don't think asexuality is not the problem. I don't think the fact he lied is, okay? So basically, this is what this person said, right? This guy said on here, and she's reiterating what he said back in, oh, sorry, turn my heater off, back in April. I don't usually participate in these conversations, but wanted to chime in hopes I would give others some hope too. After just one day of paying for this site, I found the love of my life here. Now, that was in my thread. I didn't know the guy. He came in randomly, said that, because he said he'd just come on the site, and that's the message I remember him putting in. And she's repeating his message back to remind everyone what he said back in April. And I remember that, and I remember thinking at the time, well, that's really quick, very weird, but I believe in true love. Love's great, isn't it? So I'm like, great, wonderful. You know, and I never saw this person again in this thread. Not that I know of, right? So she then goes on to say what happened with this person. After talking every day for months, professing our love to one another, and me moving states away to be with him, he decided to fill me in on who he really is. An unemployed liar who takes money from women to support his kids instead of working to support them. Our relationship was built on 100% lies, and I now have to relocate back and rebuild my life. And the guy put is a profile name on Asexuality and lives in a part of America. I'm not going to tell you where, because obviously I don't think that's right. And then she reveals his real name. And I warn any woman here, if contacted by him and he reveals his name as that, he is not an honest person. So yeah. So you know, she just doesn't want it. She just doesn't want any woman to be scammed, and I think that's fair enough. You know, I think that's really brave of her to do that. Really brave, you know. And so, you know, you have to know that there are scammers out there. You know, that people that say they love you months and months and months on end, and you believe them, and sadly it doesn't always work out, because sadly there are liars in the world, and sadly some of them are asexual dating sites and trying to scam people. And I'll come on to someone who was trying to do that to me last night. So that was the lady that was, you know, the woman that was trying to help us. And she goes on, you know, she goes on to say later on, she's really looking for a serious relationship. At least she was, but she met a man on this site, moved states away to be with him, only to be told he had been lying to her since day one about employment and taking money from women. And so now she's even more particular than she was before. And she's not willing to relocate again, which is fair enough. You know, so I'm saying this because I want to just, you know, say that there are scammers out there, and sadly they some of them are so real, you know, really, that you really believe them. Like, you know, for months they were talking, professing their love for each other. She wrote this on 28th of October, her last message was about him. So this is like, you know, so she's moved states to be with him, and I just, you know, it's just horrible. It really is horrible and nasty, but there are people out there that are like this, sadly. And they're not, you know, it's not just a one-off. So there's this other person on this site, and they didn't say that they met someone. They didn't say they met someone on this particular site, but they're on Asexuality, and they're talking about their experience and saying they can add their sympathies and understanding too. This person chatted online with a lady and her daughter and her mum for more than 4 years. 4 years. Flew halfway round the world to meet them all, only to discover they just wanted his money. And I just think that's really bad. Do you know what I mean? They put sad, very sad, none of them knew the meaning of love. And I just think, you know, it's sad that people even have to do that. but it's also very sad for the recipient and victims they do that to. I mean, these people aren't acting like victims, you know, they're being really adult about it. They're being really, you know, like just protecting other people, letting people know. I mean, that person was in my thread, so I'm glad that this woman's come forward, because, you know, I don't want bad people in my thread, even though I'm not responsible for people on there. Do you know what I mean? I can't say what they're like. It's just a thread I started about, are they looking for a serious committed relationship, you know? But I just wanted you to know that that's what some people are like. So if you are thinking about moving, you know, at least make sure you go and visit them before you actually move. I mean, that last person said they flew halfway around the world to meet them all, you know, and then found out they wanted their money. That's why I won't do online relationships usually, because there's no point, because I don't want to waste my life away, you know, on the fact that, you know, there might not be genuine people. What's the point? Do you know what I mean? I don't want to do that. You know, if you're having an online relationship, you should be aiming to meet within a year. You know what I mean? Ideally, you want to be meeting with one needs to be going to the other country within a year to meet the other person. I mean, if the other person just, because otherwise they're just going on and on. It's just an endless, oh, I can't come now, I haven't got the money. Oh, I can't get a visa. Oh, I can't get time off work. You know what I mean? I can't get the money to get. It's just online. I knew a guy, a sexual guy, who was speaking to a woman who was having an online relationship for over 4 years with her. And then his mum told him to go and marry someone else. And so he did. And then a few months later, he was heading for the divorce. And he's divorced now. So, you know, it's not good. But obviously with online asexuals, we do end up starting our relationships online a lot of the time. You know, we're bound to. So you just got to be careful and be, you know, logical, not just emotional like I used to, about these things, you know, or used to be. So what happened yesterday? So I was going through my emails yesterday, my asexual emails, and who should pop up but this person in one of my groups. Now, this person had 2 Facebook profiles, which I didn't quite click onto, and they were sending me emails in response to my newsletter asking me for money. They basically was, I'm not going to go into all the details of it, but they basically was giving me this heartbreaking story, which may or may not be true. And that's not the point. And anyway, it was all written out like a very, very long essay. And they had a particular bad experience with someone of my colour, shall I be subtly saying. And so the email wasn't particularly nice in general for that reason. But basically, they wrote me a long email out and said, oh, I need to get out this country. Can you help me financially? There is no way in hope in hell I'm ever going to pay for anything for anyone abroad. You know, I don't give money out to people. If I was giving the money out, I give money to a proper registered charity or someone that I knew in person who really needed it. You know what I mean? I don't give money out to anyone anyway. I don't even give money to my friends. Do you know what I mean? I've never been that type of person. I don't give money to people. You know, if I see a homeless person, sometimes I give them food. I don't tend to even give them money, because I know they probably spend it on drugs and stuff. I know that's very stereotypical, but you don't know which ones are on drugs and which one aren't a lot of the time. So, you know, if I ever give stuff to a homeless person, the majority of the time, like last time, I gave someone a packet of crisps, like food. And then once I went into Pound Store and got them some biscuits or something, I can't remember. So I don't tend to give money, because when I was younger than I am now, there was this guy, actually, and I think did I give him food? I gave him something, and he wasn't really homeless. I found out he wasn't homeless. He was wearing the latest bomber jackets. He was on his mobile phone. He was just begging, and he was lying about it. So I just, you know, I'm very sceptical nowadays. But I don't give money out online to people. I don't give money out even to my friends. I'm not that type of person. You know, I believe in earning your own money. I believe in working hard for it, not sponging off other people. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So this person, they wrote me all this stuff out, and the email progressed not just from saying financially, that I had 4 emails, and the long, you know, after they've written this huge long email, they wrote me another one saying that they wanted to move countries. They want me to get them basically a Land Rover, £100,000 apartment. I mean, where do I think it's most coming from? I haven't got this sort of money. What do you think selling a few asexual t-shirts and books that makes me a bit of pocket money is really gonna stretch to that far? I don't think so. I don't know where people think I get the money from. You know, I have a rent to pay, roof to keep over my head, food to keep in my belly. You know, I'm technically not even working at the moment, apart from doing my writing and t-shirt designing, because I was made redundant from my full-time job last year that I did all the asexual stuff after work, weekends, in addition to my full-time income that I now don't have coming in. So if anyone's watching this trying to get money out of me, you're not going to get a sausage because I don't have the money in the first place, which, you know. And they were, you know, I just couldn't believe this email about, you know, about a home, a Land Rover, all this stuff. I'm like, what do you think it is? And they had this thing about people, you know, who are of my colour, white. So they kept saying repeatedly about, you know, a person who's white. So I love all people of all colours, as you know. And so yeah, it's sad and unfortunate they even have to write emails like that. I think it's very rude and not very nice. And obviously they were blocked from my email account. They were removed immediately from my groups because I am not having them in my groups, you know, potentially going around asking other people for money. And they had 2 different accounts on Facebook as well, which is always a bit dodgy, as you know. So yeah, they're gone as much as possible, blocked from me, blocked from the group, so they can't access my groups. And this person is in lots of Facebook groups. I think they were in asexual groups. I think about 18 groups. So you know, and it's just scamming people. It's just horrible. You know, they did say they were asexual, but asexual or not, doesn't matter. You know, you can get people of all different sexual orientations. Some are going to be good and some are going to be bad. Some are going to be well-intentioned and some aren't, you know. But, you know, it's like I had a long time ago, I had a guy in one of my asexual groups, dating group, that's what it was. And he was nice as pie to me, but I had someone report him and he was on my watch list. Because sometimes I remove someone immediately. Sometimes I put them on my watch list. If they do anything else that's not good, categorically they're out, or anything that I just think is unacceptable, out they go. So anyway, this person was on my watch list for that reason. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they started messaging me, asking me for money. And I'm like, no. And then they started being really nasty about my writing, actually. They started saying something really horrible about writing. It wasn't my books. It was about writing in general, because I was writing a message. They go, oh, you can't write. And I was just like... I was thinking to myself, is that the best you can do to pressurize me into giving you money? Because you're trying to make me feel so bad about myself when I'm just sending you a text message via Messenger. It's not going to work on me. So I just remove them from my group, block them from my group, block them from me. It's just ridiculous and pathetic, you know? People who make people feel bad about themselves and their life just to get something out of them. It's just not nice. It's just greedy. It's selfish. It's very harassing. It's manipulative, you know, and we don't need those type of people in our lives. But just to let you know, they are out there, you know. Sadly, it's unfortunate. It very much is unfortunate, you know. So I just want you to make it aware that if you are thinking about moving countries, think again, you know. Go through the process of getting to know them on camera, video chatting with them loads, getting to know them as a person for a long period of time. But as you've seen on Asexuality, these people got to know these people for years, for months. It's not their fault they've been scammed, because it's the people, you know, who are doing the scamming. But there are precautions that you need to take for yourself. You know, I would never move state for someone. Even say I was a mover, right? If I was intending to move to another country, I would research the whole country myself, try and find out the best places to live by asking several different people, not just one person, not just a person I'm interested in. I would be looking for work for myself out there. I'd be looking for a place to live for myself out there. I wouldn't just go and live with someone. And I would be, it'd be nice to have that offer from them that if, something happened over there, then, I've always got a place to go to if I need it. But I would want to get my own place out there. But I'd want to go, and I'd go over to visit them beforehand. I mean, I don't even fly on a plane, so this is all hypothetical, never really going to happen. But, I'd be going over there to see them, to visit first. I'd be getting used to the country, the culture, the people. I'd be getting to know places so that I know if I go abroad and anything happens to me that I can look after myself in that country, and I still know where to go to be safe and to keep myself as safe and happy as possible. Because even if you do move states, move countries, you might be all right for a year or so, then you might find out it still doesn't work. It's very different in person where you're living and breathing with each other day in, day out. It's completely different. You might get on each other's nerves and stuff. What you might find endearing on the internet might actually be quite annoying in person. What you can put up with in terms of talking to them. Maybe, you've had a hard day at work and you're on the internet, you haven't spoke to them for 8 hours, and then all of a sudden you're having your chat. It's very beautiful, isn't it? Because it's like, we can talk about each other's day, we can make each other feel great. But when you're living with each other day in, day out, say 7 days a week, and you come back from work and, living together, and one person's absolutely shattered, they just don't want to do anything, they want to put Netflix on or whatever. You've come home and you've had a hard day at work, and you don't want to put the food on, you want to get takeaway. That person doesn't want takeaway, you do. That person's like, well, why can't you cook? And you're like, well, why can't you cook? And do you know what I mean? This is how it can go. I'm not saying it's going to be like this, but this can be the other side that you don't see. So I just want to make you really clear and really aware of what can happen. And there are asexual scammers. There are people that aren't really asexual as well that are going on these sites to get money. I mean, asexuality used to be so bad when I joined it in 2014 because it actually had tons of people specifically giving links saying, something like my mother's dying, I really need your help, or I've been left this amount of money in my will and I've got no one to leave it to afterwards and I'm dying now, so I'm going to give it to you, in order to get your bank details, and they would send you a link to get you off the site. Asexuality doesn't have that type of spam anymore, so they're obviously being very cunning, these people on there, by putting a whole profile up, making out they're a sort of, hello, curious tomboy, nice to see you. I haven't seen you for ages. Lovely to see you. So, some people, like I said, they're doing it more subtly now. They're actually creating a profile. They're making out that they're a person within the community, and they're sort of infiltrating like that. So you've got to be very, very careful. And like I said, if you have been subject to a scam, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't blame yourself. I mean, like I said, that person on Asexuality, the one that was speaking to the lady, her daughter and mum, for 4 years online, before they discovered that they were using them for money. So, your time and life is so precious. I just don't want you to waste any of it, So, do you want some good stories now? Right. Well, this isn't an asexual story about one person moving state to another, although I do know someone who did that, but I don't know how they're currently getting on. So I do know a person that used to be in an asexual group, and then his lady went over to move with him, but I haven't heard from him since. I don't even know if I'm on Facebook friends with him still. But she was going over, but when they actually got together, they were getting married, but I don't know what happened after that. So that might be still a really good story, a real life one. But, however, there are 2 people that I do know that have moved states. They're not asexual, but they are married and really happy living in another country with a person they didn't know for a humongous amount of time beforehand. So, the first person who I've probably mentioned before on this channel, he's 70, is it 71 or 72 now? And he got married this year. And his wife, I think, is 39. He's 71. I think he's going on 72 this year. And she's 39 as far as I remember. So basically, there's a lot of years gap. Over 30 years between them. She's his junior, right? Now, when my friend, blogger friend, I've been blogging now for over 8 years. Well, 8 years on the 8th of November on my quirkybooks.wordpress.com blog. And I've known this blogger, this guy who's over 70, since the time I started blogging, nearly 8 years ago. And so I've watched his journey, and he was actually scammed by a woman online. he was scammed by a woman online. I think it was her actual boyfriend or brother or something. There was a bloke involved anyway. I think it was her boyfriend, and he was scammed out of money. She wanted his money. She didn't really love him, and he was going to be with her then. So obviously, when this new girl came into his life, this much younger one, I thought that, you know, maybe this is not going to work out. Maybe it's not going to be legitimate. But I was actually wrong, because he moved. He was a British citizen, but he lived in Spain for years, and he moved with his 2 cats to be with his now wife in Austria. From Spain to Austria. That's a huge move with 2 cats as well. Bear in mind he's over 70 as well. And he's got an illness as well. So it means like he can't hold much with his hands anymore and stuff. And so, yeah, he literally went over there. I think they knew each other online for at least 8 months. Online for over 8 months. I'm not sure if he even visited her before he moved. I don't know that bit. But they were knowing each other online for about 8 months. And then he did move over there, and they had temporary accommodation, and they moved into a home together, and they live with their 2 cats over there now, and he loves her to bits. And so that is something that happened very quickly, really, within 8 months. They didn't, you know, they knew each other online. I don't think they'd met in person. I'm not 100% sure about that, though. And he moved countries to be with her, and they got married. And that is a very beautiful, real love story that happened over the internet, and that they made work, and that is currently working, and they're very, very happy together. And then I had another blogger friend who I've known pretty much nearly the whole 8 years as well. He used to live in the UK, and he's moved to, where's he moved? I think his wife's Chinese, is she? Oh no, Filipino, I think she is. I think she's Filipino. Well, he's moved basically to be with her in his he's moved to be with her in her country. I think it's the Philippines she comes from. I can't 100% remember. But he's moved over there, and he got married this year as well. And, you know, he was messaging me recently on my blog, and they've got a dog, and they're very, very happy together. But he did even tell me, he said in that country that she's in, white guys are seen as very wealthy. Like, you know, that it's lucky if someone in their country gets someone who's white guy, because they've got a ton of money and use their money. That's what he said to me. That's what the society's like over there, with the mentality, you know. But he said it's funny because his wife and him always argue over who's paying for it, because she won't let him pay for everything, because she doesn't want to be seen as someone like that, who's that type of woman, because she's not. And I've seen her blog posts, and I've seen her wedding photographs, and I know she really loves him. She wrote this beautiful poem, really from her heart, about what it meant to meet him and to marry him. And he did go over there and visit her a few times before they got together. And I think they've been known each other for 18 months or something before he moved. So that was longer. And he had visited her before, he said. I don't know how many times though. I don't think it was that many. I know it's at least once before. I don't think it was that much. But yeah, so and he's really happy with her still. She seems like a really, really nice person. And so, you know, I'm really, really happy for them. So, you know, it can work out, you know, meeting someone online, moving. And way back when I was in college, there was a guy who moved abroad from the UK to go and be with someone he'd met online as well. And he moved country. And as far as I know, they stayed married. So, you know, internet relationships can work out. A lot of relationships start on the internet these days. But I would always say to meet the person in person before you actually move countries to be with them. Because you don't know what that person's like in reality offline. You know, living with them day in, day out, being around each other, you don't actually know, even though you think you might know. So I just want you to be super safe, super careful, you know, relish your time and your life, you know. I'm saying it even though I want a foreign guy, you know, so this could put foreign guys coming over, you know, off over here. But, you know, a lot of foreign guys sadly try and scam me. They don't get very far because I won't marry. And one of the things they want is a visa, and they want to get married for visa, and I won't do it. So as soon as they say marriage, I'm like, no, don't want to get married. Why don't you want to get married? Because I don't like it. I don't actually. But, you know, as a side note, I don't like it anyway. And they're like, oh, but I want marriage. And I'm like, that's fine. Go and find someone to marry you then. Because I'm not your woman or girl. Do you know what I mean? And so I think it's really important to stand your ground. You know, someone's going on about marriage a lot of the time and they live abroad. You know, you've got to be very careful because a lot of the time it's to get a visa. I've had people want me to sponsor them. Again, where do they think I'm going to get this money from? Is it just going to drop on my lap and me sponsor them? I wouldn't sponsor someone. I'm not set up for sponsorship. To sponsor someone, you've got to apply to the government to be a sponsor, a work sponsor, and everything like that, you know? It's just like, you know, I've been told you've got to have X amount of thousands and thousands of pounds in the bank, which I don't have. I support myself over here. I have done for years, you know? Yeah, just be careful. Just take love sensibly. I know I shouldn't, you know, I'm one to say that because obviously I'm a hyper romantic. So I know how the love feelings go. And I know that, you know, when you think you found the right person, it's amazing. But just be careful because I want you to stay safe. I love you to bits as my community of friends and followers and here, you know, and I don't want you to get hurt. You know, that doesn't mean to say live live with a blanket over your head 24/7 and never try or experience anything, you know, at all. In fact, the opposite, you know, in a way, you know, you should look at it as an opportunity to go and explore other countries if you're thinking about getting serious with someone. But, you know, explore first rather than just jump in with everything, you know. Well, if you move abroad, right, and you go and live with someone and you've got no job of your own, no money of your own, you are tied to that person financially. If that person turns around and be abusive to you, even when you think they're wonderful, then, you know, you're stuck because you can't cope financially on your own and you're end up in an abusive relationship. You know, that's a potential that could happen. Don't let that happen to you. Don't even put yourself at risk like that. You know, make sure that your safety and well-being is the most important thing first and foremost, and then love is after that, when you've made sure that your self is safe. You know, I see quite a lot of people that are in some not very good situations and they move because they think it's going to be much better for them. And potentially it could be, but it could also be that they're running away from one problem into another. And in life, we tend to reflect things. So we tend to have patterns of behaviour. Like, if you've been in abusive relationships, for example, it's really difficult to not get back into one, even if you don't want to. I did something called pattern changing course, which was 14 weeks, which was to change the way I viewed relationships and patterns of behaviour in myself and recognising patterns of behaviour in certain, you know, in guys, to make sure that I didn't end up with an abusive guy. I've been happily single predominantly since 2011 now. You know, I've been far happier being single than in relationships, and I actually retrained my brain using neuro-linguistic programming years ago to not need to be in a relationship, so to be happy being single. Because years ago I used to go from one relationship to another relationship to another relationship. I was never really single, maybe for a few weeks at best. You know, I think the longest I'd been single before 2011, end of 2011, was for 6 months. That was the longest I was single since a teenager, since was I 15 or something like that. So yeah, half my life in heterosexual relationships, one after the other, and that's just no good, you know. But I was very needy back then, of needing to be with someone and be in a relationship. I don't need that anymore. I don't really need a guy at all. I just like kissing. It's quite funny. And I do love and romance, but it's not all it's cracked up to be, the reality of it sometimes. Anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And please share this video with anyone who you think might benefit. If you've got a friend or family member or someone who's thinking about moving and they've met someone online, you know, say that you wish them well, you wish them good luck, you wish them a lot of happiness, you know, you just want to make sure they're covering all the bases. Tell them to listen to this person on YouTube. You know, she's talking about other examples. If you haven't already, you know, watched this video, Curious Tomboy, thanks for sharing. You're welcome, Curious Tomboy. Yeah, if you haven't watched the whole thing all the way through, go back to the beginning of this video, so that you know, because this is live now, but when I finished, it'll be processed and go straight on YouTube, and then, you know, just watch it through. And make sure, thanks Michael, just watch it through and make sure you've got all the points listed down of what to look out for. You know, just put yourself first, protect yourself, be kind to yourself, love yourself so much, and you know, just really enjoy life, and don't waste it on someone that might be wasting your time. You know, if you've got intuition as well, if there's any intuition within you which I haven't brought up, sometimes you have an intuition, a sixth sense, a feeling in your heart and your being that this person isn't being genuine. You're not telling you the truth. There's red flags and you are choosing to ignore them, because love is so powerful and you are choosing to ignore them. But you know in your mind, in your heart, that something's bugging you. You can't relax. You can't trust them. Don't go and move. Know that your gut is usually right, that your intuition is usually right. And if you're feeling those feelings about them anyway, it means something's not good in the relationship. It is off. So it either becomes fixed, or if you know deep down in your soul that it can't be fixed, because you know inherently in your being there's something just isn't quite right, even if everything seems great on the outside, but you know when you speak to this person or message them or feel their vibe, you know there's just something off. Listen to your vibe. You know, there are thousands of people out there in the world. Thousands for you, you know? You know, whether we're asexual or sexual people in this world, you know, we can all get it wrong, but we can also always find true love. There are genuine people out there. You know, I'm a genuine person. I can vouch for myself. There's going to be other people that are genuine out there that can vouch for themselves. I've got asexual friends. I know people that are really good guys out there that are beautiful people, you know, but the majority of those guys are usually looking for someone, hopefully in their own country. But, you know, we have to sometimes look abroad, and we have to sometimes, you know, love does cross miles across the globe, you know. So just be careful, take precautions. And if you're feeling happy and feel like it's really good, you know, make sure you video chat with them loads. Go and see them in person, or get them to see you, and at least feel what it feels like to be in their company, in their presence, in the reality of the offline world, not just online world. It's so important. I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll see you on the next live stream. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit that great big subscribe button now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live or post a new video. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Curious Tomboy. Thank you, Michael. And thank you for whoever has been tuning in for a long time on this channel as well. I've seen you quite a bit on here, but I think you're a bit shy in revealing who you are. So thanks very, very much. And until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's. There is a donate button on this channel now below if you do want to donate anything to keep this channel going. And that would be great. But you don't have to, obviously, because I'm here anyway. Anyway, I love you dearly, and I will see you on the next live stream. Take care. Bye. Bye.